Welcome to another exciting episode of The Nest, where we discuss everything babies. Today we're discussing babies and skincare, and therefore we are looking forward to hear from you on your comments and on our Facebook page regarding any experiences you have had with your little ones on their skin, from acne to eczema to anything else or any kind of rashes. Whatever it is that you'd like to be sharing with us on your experience, please go ahead to share that with us as we discuss. I know for every new mom, everyone talks about baby smooth skin. But then again, what happens when your little one comes up with a little rash or little acne here and there? We have a mom with us sharing her story on how she dealt with and survived having acne on her little baby. Welcome, Mercy.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Mercy Wanjiko Mboro. I'm a mom of one little girl who is now 4 months.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jeez, we've made you leave your baby.
She's big enough now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, my very first question would be, when was the time that the baby got acne for the first time? How old was she?
The time I noticed some changes on her skin, because when I gave birth to her, she was flawless. And her skin was so light and nothing was on her skin. Then after I went home from hospital, the first week she was okay. The second week, come the end of second week, I noticed something on her hairline. And I was like, what's up? Then I called my mom. She told me, maybe you're making the milk go all over her face. Then I told her that's not the case. After the second week, the third week, her skin was like, I noticed she could scratch herself on the forehead. Then there was nothing. Scratching when she wanted to cry, every time she could just scratch her forehead. Then I noticed she's not putting some marks on her forehead. Some pimples are coming out, and they're not just pimples. They're like pimples in one spot. They're like 5 or 10, and they have some white thing on them. And I was so stressed up. But for the fourth week, the first, third week, the starting of the fourth week, and the fourth week it got worse. The fifth week continued.
I will not let you share your story now. I think it's fair to agree that, so at 3 weeks,
Yes.
At 3 weeks is when they really popped up.
Yeah, and the scratching started. When she could
So the baby
cry,
could actually
yes,
scratch herself.
when she could cry, everything on her face, you could just... And I used to make sure that her nails were short enough not to put some marks on her face. But it was really, I think she was being irritated
3
or
weeks.
something. Yes.
3 weeks is very small.
Yeah.
3 weeks is very small. To our viewer back home, I know you want to hear this story in full, so don't go away. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to The Nest, where we discuss everything babies. On today's episode, we're discussing babies and skincare, and we have an amazing mom who's sharing with us her journey on her little baby who actually had acne. Before I go to the story of our mom with us, I'd like to remind you to send us any funny videos that you may have recorded of your lovely babies, or photos, and any birthday wishes you'd like us to send out on your behalf at the end of the show. Back to our story with Mercy. Mercy, 3 weeks, the baby had something on her head and she was itching already.
Yeah.
Tell me about that now from 3 weeks.
From 3 weeks, the face, the forehead, then it proceeded inside the head, like the hair. I gave
On
birth,
the scalp now.
Yeah. I gave birth to a baby with a lot of hair.
All right.
The hair was so much on her head, full head hair, and then I could notice when I was washing her, like I could see some pimples scattered on the hair, on the scalp.
Oh dear.
And then after the fourth week, towards the end of the fourth week, the whole forehead, like around here.
The forehead and the scalp.
Yes, the pimples were all over. And
right.
It was turning now to be whitish. And I could not wash her in with, like I could not use the soap because I think it was irritating enough for her to start crying. because when you're washing the head, you have to do a little bit of moving your hands and all that. Maybe I think the pimples used to break, and then the soap could make her feel pain or irritation.
So you started using soap at how?
When I left the hospital, the mistake I did not ask my doctor like after how many days I should start using the soap.
Yes.
So when I went home, the first 2 to 3 days someone helped me clean my baby because I underwent CS.
Okay.
After that, I started cleaning my baby myself, and I think with the little knowledge I had, I thought it's okay to use the soap since the baby needs to feel clean and all that. I started using the normal bar soap. After a while, I noticed when I use it on her head, she used to cry. Then the pimples became worse. So when I could use the soap, she could cry. Like my time with her, when I used to bathe her, was not enjoyable.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. So this is now week 3, week 4.
Yeah.
Week 4. Then moving on to week 5, at what point did you think that you needed to ask for help?
When after 1 month, the 5th week, my relatives from my in-laws started saying, oh, we need to come and see the baby, we've missed her, we've not seen her. Then I was like, I noticed I was getting depressed because I was thinking maybe they'll come and start looking at my baby and thinking she gave birth to a sick baby, or the skin is not as beautiful. So I started postponing them and making them understand like I've not recovered enough to receive guests, but that was not the case. I wanted my baby to be presentable enough for them to come and see, oh, she has a beautiful baby. And the pimples were giving me stress. There's a time I remember I cried. Literally I cried because the baby is scratching. She's feeding well, but when she wants to feed and like she makes some noise, she could scratch her skin and then she could start crying. And then the visitors are like, if I could have allowed visitors to come, maybe I couldn't be more comfortable or confident enough to show them my baby, like I'm a proud mom or this and that. But I felt like I needed time to sort this out so that when they come, maybe any other issue, but not her skin. And she's a girl, I couldn't take it. So I started postponing every visit. Yes.
And seeking a doctor.
I went to seek for the medical option. I went at week 6 because when I consulted my friends, like I remember I asked my sister, is this something normal? Because I was like, I want to go to the doctor, and she told me, it is normal. It is just baby rashes and all that. It will be over. Then she told me, but make sure when you wash her, don't apply any oil. She didn't tell me not to use the soap. So I thought, my sister has had 3 babies. She must know what I'm going through.
Yeah.
I stopped using the famous Aramis wherever we put on the baby, because that is I was even told before I gave birth to my baby, that is the only thing I can use on her. So I stopped using it. The pimples could not go away because I think she could sweat and all that, and the pimples were there. But after some time, I started looking at it like, no, I don't need to ask any layman to explain what I'm going through. I went to a medical doctor where I gave birth, and when she looked at my baby, she just told me in plain Swahili, "Hii ni joto." Then I was like, really?
Heat rash.
Yes. I asked her, it is not heat rash. Then she told me, no, I'm telling you, because if it is something else, it could have gone all over her body. But then I noticed around the neck, the pimples were extending around the neck, and below here at the chin, I could see, like, every time I'm breastfeeding, and it is not, you cannot just prevent the milk from just going around her chin. So the pimples became worse. Then they started spreading around the chin. Then at that time when I went to the doctor, the pimples were just around the forehead and the scalp. And then when I went home,
You realized there was more.
Yeah, and then the pimples are just getting all over and the neck and everywhere. Then I went.
So the doctor didn't give you any?
No, she told
anything.
me it was just heat rash.
Okay.
And I remember I went there to be checked because I went through CS.
All right.
So when I went...
So it's your regular 6 week, the 6-week visit that you're scheduled for.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I went home, when I realized the chin part was also getting some pimples and the neck, and then thank God I gave birth to a healthy baby. The neck, it had some, the back part of it, it was a little bit healthy, so she could sweat, and I used to use a clean liner to wipe her sweat. But then I realized underneath, in between,
the folds.
A lot of pimples.
Oh dear.
So after I went to the doctor, I decided, no, I won't go back here. I need to look for another doctor to go to. I started calling my friends. Then one of them told me, maybe it's eczema. And there is a special soap for it. Actually, that person came home to my place and she looked at the baby and told me, have you tried this? I told her no. She told me, you need to buy it, but it's a little expensive. Then there is nothing I could not have done for her skin. I remember I went to the chemist. I bought a lotion and a bar soap, oily Tam. I bought them. When I started using them, I made sure like I could not use the soap beyond her face. I only used to wash her head, and I made sure the soap could not go near her face. I then remember the scalp also had pimples. When I used to clean the front part of her head,
Yes.
there is a soft part that moves there.
Yes.
So I could not like use a lot of force.
Energy, yes.
So when I used to clean her, that part really took time to be clean, because when I used that bar soap, it really helped on her head, because the pimples started drying up, but then they are leaving a lot of dead cells on the head, on the scalp. So I washed, I think I used that bar soap for like a week. I noticed some changes, but then I made sure I could not use the soap on the face. The pimples on the head disappeared, but the face remained the same. And I'm not using soap and I'm not using oil on the baby, on the face.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what did you do after that?
After that, the funniest thing, I called my mom. Then I started complaining. She told me, what is the issue? I told her my baby has everything. Every part of her face has pimples. Then she told me, what sort of shawls are you using? I told her, hi, shawls. Like, she told me everything you're using to wrap your baby may be the thing that is causing the pimples. Then I told her, how? You know, you're like, if I could have called my sister and she had given me that information, I would have wanted to listen. But then my mother is in the village. Then mambo ya shawls, madhe. So I told her, I'm using this and that. My lucky part was, in our family we received 2 babies last year. So one of my in-laws went back home for my mom to look after her because she didn't have a house help. When they went to the hospital and the baby had some temperatures at night, they met a very good nurse. Then the nurse looked at the shawls she was using and told my mom, make sure she doesn't use this thing on the baby again. Then my mom asked why. The nurse said these shawls are not very good on the skin of the baby. They are rough, and then the make of it's like polyester. And for the baby you need pure cotton or something soft enough. So my baby asked me, are you using the same shawls like as your mama, your sister? Then I said yes, we bought the same day, and we bought the same, like even the prints were the same. We just bought a dozen, we separated.
Oh dear.
So my mom said, don't use them again. Do you have any other shawls? I said yes, I do. she told me you need to use either pure cotton or you use lassos, but do not use that shawl again. Immediately I stopped using it, like after 3 to 4 days, because I remember the reason why the pimples were escalating, it's because they were my favorite shawls. I used to love them because they were bright.
What are the odds?
And I used to love them so much. When I stopped using them, immediately, like after 4 days, I started noticing the pimples are going away. She's not really scratching too much, and the face is clearing. After 2 to 3 weeks, the face was clear. Then I told my mom, like, the face is clear, but you know, when she had the pimples, the face, the color was uneven. So around the ears, it was a little dark, around the ears and below the chin. So I told her, the pimples have cleared, but her face has 2 colors. She told me, you wait. It will clear, but you need to make sure you don't use the same shawls again. So after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the face cleared. Then after the 2nd month, the 3rd month, the face was so good. Then I didn't go back to the doctors. I won't say I went to. The only thing I did, I used the soap. But then what saved me was the quality of the shawls I was using to wrap my baby.
Wow, and that wisdom came from your mother.
Yes.
Gosh, that is just invaluable. I really like that it came from your mother.
Yeah.
What made you not try the soap that you decided to use that cleared the baby's hair? What gave you fear that you should not use it on the face?
I really don't know. I was like, when you're a first time mom, I think everything is suspicious. Like what I had with the issues of the baby's skin, I think I could suspect anything. Because even some friends were telling me it's because the milk is getting all over her chin and all that. Then I was asking, the milk is not getting on her forehead. Why is her forehead this much? But the reason why I didn't use the soap, I think I was just suspicious. I wouldn't say I knew if I use it, it will be this way or it will be that way. Yeah.
And how come you never thought of cutting her hair?
Oh, it's a funny one, because I tried. Then the dad said, the dad said, no, you are not going to cut her hair. She's a girl. She will look like a boy. And then, funny enough, I insisted. Then he said, my girl will be like Solomon.
Oh, lovely. No cutting her hair.
Yeah.
I'm happy that it cleared even without cutting the hair. Actually, I was just asking out of curiosity because
I didn't cut her hair.
Yeah, because it's very tempting to want to cut the hair to reduce the heat. I don't know. But I'm very happy for you that it cleared.
Thank you.
So regarding the breast milk, I think I'm really eager to have the expert on board. Then she can tell us whether it really does cause rash, yeah? So for the mom back home, we are still expecting to hear from you. Any kind of feedback is welcome. Right now we are going for a break and we'll be joined by the expert shortly after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Nest, where we discuss everything babies. And on today's show, we're discussing babies and skincare. We have with us our expert doula.
Hi.
Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Esther Kimani. I am a doula, a childcare expert, and basically work with parents in their journey through, having a baby. Yes.
You've helped so many people. There's too many testimonies out there. And the question I want to start with is something that Mercy was told because her baby had, acne, eczema combination. Can you please share with her regarding the milk?
Yeah, I was told by my friends, because around her chin, she had a lot of pimples and rashes. People were telling me it's because the milk gets all over her chin. That is the effect of the milk. So I was wondering, is that true?
Not quite. though it can have an effect. So the baby is not reacting to the breast milk. Most of it is babies with allergies, and so they are more reacting to what is in the milk. So like, for example, if you've eaten a lot of wheat, for example, and your baby has eczema. So wheat is one of the, we call them trigger foods. So the wheat in the milk might trigger the rashes, especially when it lasts around the chin for a long time, because usually with eczema it tends to affect the skin. So when the baby takes it, and most of those babies, even when they take that milk, you'll find they are gassy, they are squirming, they're not comfortable. So it's not really the milk per se. So it has something to do with the milk, of course.
Yes.
But it's not the
milk spillage.
It's not, because they're babies with milk spillage and they don't get rashes. So it's connected to allergies. So the baby is reacting to something that is in mommy's milk. Yes.
And talking about mommy's milk, there are actually, what I've heard is on the contrary, where moms whose babies have had acne are actually advised to use the breast milk to apply
around the area, and it aids in healing or drying up the acne.
All right.
Yes. So that's why I'm like, breast milk in itself is not the cause of, so it's related to the allergy. And it tends to happen to babies who already are showing symptoms of an allergy, or in families that have allergies. So you might find that in your either you or your partner in the family, there might be some people with allergies, and that's why even when your baby is born, they also have, it's usually a genetic thing, they have the allergies as well. Yeah.
So for her case, it was interesting that it was fabric, and lucky enough, her mother was able to, pass on the wisdom generations down.
Yeah.
What other things? You've also mentioned wheat now.
So we have different with eczema. Eczema is actually an allergic condition where babies react to different things. It could be things in the environment, could be things that they're ingesting, eating, could be things that they're even smelling. So it can be anything, mainly to do with the senses. So you find that in her case, her baby, it was what we call contact. Anything that came into contact with her skin would trigger a reaction, and that's why you see the reaction. For some people, it could be what they're eating. So when the baby breastfeeds and mommy ate something that doesn't agree with them, it causes a trigger reaction. So usually with that, we usually put mom on a certain diet to help the baby grow, because the beauty of eczema, they outgrow it. I'm sure you've seen it's become better as the baby grows, or rather the symptoms become less as they grow. We have others, even a smell. You find the baby just, a certain smell just causes the baby, suddenly they're sneezing and they're coughing and they have a blocked nose, they're even showing rashes around the nose. So it can be any of those, and that's how eczema presents itself. Yes.
Okay. So everyone, especially mothers, need to observe even their very own diet, because through their diet
and we use the process of elimination. So we always start first with contact, because contact tends to be the biggest cause of the triggers. So change the fabric, change even the soap you're using on the baby's skin, and also what you're using to wash the baby's clothes. Things like dust mites. Dust mites are everywhere. So we do encourage you to iron the inside of the baby's clothes after drying them out in the sun. Then you iron them so that you kill the dust mites, because those dust mites can trigger, because they're really tiny, you can't see them. So when it's very dusty here, so they are carried in the dust. So when you iron, you kill them. So that could have been the trigger. It could be fabric softeners that you've used on the baby's clothes. So different things. So those are contact. Could be even the oil you as a mother are using, or your partner, and you're holding the baby. So you find the babies, because you are holding the baby maybe against your skin, they're reacting to the oil that you yourself has. So it's process of elimination. If it's food, again, if the baby especially is showing all these signs, but they're also showing, because the eczema will also be inside. So the baby is having a lot of gas, they are bringing up a lot of milk, they're very uncomfortable. That could also mean that they're reacting to the food. So again, process of elimination. You start off with the main triggers for eczema tend to be dairy, so cow milk. They also tend to be wheat, and for some children, citric fruits. So those are usually the main ones. So we say eliminate one at a time, and once you see the baby's okay, you can withdraw them from your diet for just a short while, and then bring them back as the baby grows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Going to soap. I was about to say soap. Going to soap.
Yeah.
You mentioned soap and observing the kind of soap you use for your baby. At what point do you introduce soap when washing a baby? Because when you're leaving the hospital, they'll often tell you it's not urgent for you to use soap, especially like for the first month.
Yeah.
And what's the frequency even after that, after the month?
You can introduce soap with your choice, really.
Alright.
But usually what we say is you can skip, use soap today, skip it for 2 days, because that's very good advice for abroad, but here it's hot, the baby's sweating, there's also urine and and poop and sweat, and so the baby does accumulate some sort of, and you need a bit of something that will be able to remove the dirt, but you don't have to use it every day. So you can just use water for 2 days, then the third day use some soap. So the soap you use must be soap that will not dry up the baby's skin.
Alright.
So the greatest, actually what eczema is just the skin dries up until it starts to crack. So you always want to use things that will maintain your baby's moisture, because if the baby's moisture is maintained, then they won't crack. Yeah. So you don't want to use soap that is meant for vyombo or washing clothes. I know you. I know you. I wouldn't say the brand, but I know you. They're not meant for, because what they do when you use that soap, it strips off oil from your clothes. Like if I had an oil stain and I use that soap, it will remove it. So it does the exact same thing on your baby's skin.
Wow.
And of course that skin is already dry.
Yeah.
And so you find that you're always having cracks on the baby's skin. So the baby, maybe they're not reacting to it, but the skin is very, very dry. And this is for everyone, even babies without eczema. You find that their skin is constantly dry. Sometimes it's the soap you're using. So use soap that's actually meant to be soap that actually
is meant for bathing baby.
that has some oil that will actually help to maintain and lock in moisture in the skin. So the oils the same. There should be oils that are not going to strip oils away. Oils like olive oil are not quite a good oil for baby skin, because it is actually a stripping oil. That's why it's used a lot for hair products.
Olive oil.
It has an acid called oleic acid, and that's why it's even fantastic for cholesterol, because it goes and strips away the cholesterol around your arteries. It's also why we use it for hair. If you have dandruff and you apply olive oil, I had her talking credo cup, so that's one way of removing it. But if you apply it on the skin, it will do the same. It will strip the oils. So you want oils that have something called linoleic acid that actually lock in moisture. These are oils like shea butter, coconut, sunflower oils, those.
And what's all the talk about blocking of the
pores?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, babies are just, it's our human being, but you won't block. You will block if you use a very thick oil that will actually block. And that's why if you see most of these oils, they're very light. Like if you use coconut oil, it's very light on the skin, yet it will lock in moisture, so that the moisture is not evaporating from the skin and causing the dryness that we see. You even see almost some babies looking like they have cracks in their skin. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm taking you back to the soap.
Yes.
Because you said that you keep alternating like a few days. At what age does the child get to now use the soap every day like us?
I mean, from around 2 months, the baby is now more active. They are interacting with people, so there's much more contact. So from around 2 months, you can start using the soap every day.
Okay.
Yes.
Clear.
Yeah.
Now going back to the oil, the babies who really sweat, do you still oil them? Interestingly, Mercy was sharing with us that when her baby was sick and her skin was dry, she wasn't oiling the face, right? Was that the right thing to do?
It depends. If your baby has acne, then we don't really oil the face, because especially if you're using an oil that will block. Baby acne is just like you. So again, what product are you using? Is it actually causing the face to become more oily, or is it helping the oil not to be so much? So sometimes with very oily acne, we're like, just clean it with some soap and water to just remove the germs, or clean the dirt, so that the pores are clear. And then you really don't need oil, or even if you do, it's a very thin layer, very you know, the way you just put very lightly.
Yeah.
Yes. So you don't really need to. But for the most babies, for the rest of the body, remember your baby's skin. When babies are born, the skin is also developing. For you, you have layers of skin. If you remember your science, there was the first layer, second, third. So the baby's skin is usually just the first layer. So all these other layers have to form. So if you hydrate it well, then she will have lovely skin. I always take us back to communities like the Coastarians. They have lovely skin. Have you ever, if you really look at them as a community, the skin tends to be very nice and very moist.
I thought it was genetic.
It's because they use coconut oil right from when a baby is born. And as I said, coconut oil has linoleic acid that locks in moisture. So as a culture, you think it's because, but in their culture, everyone uses coconut oil from when a baby is born. And that actually helps the skin develop properly. And because the skin is always well hydrated, it grows to be a very, very healthy skin. So the skin is the biggest organ in the body, and it is necessary for immunity as well. So whenever there are cracks on your baby's skin, there's a risk of the baby getting infections as well. So we must protect our baby's skin.
By the way, Mercy, please feel free. If you have any question, any comment, please interject. Now, going to cradle cap, you mentioned cradle cap. I think it's something that really bothers many mothers because of that little white patch on the head. Is there any urgency to remove it?
It's just dead skin, really. It's just dead skin. You just need to apply some oil on it. Like I said, olive oil is fantastic for that. You apply some oil, like soak it, and then you take a soft brush and you can just, not really forcefully, but just brush it off. So it's just dead skin. You don't need to worry too much about it. It does not look nice, yes, but it doesn't harm the baby, and you can just remove it slowly over time and it will clear. But keep the baby's hair dry after like washing the baby, dry it properly, and then apply some oil, and that just reduces also the cradle cap from coming back. So just just brush it with a soft brush or that soft comb, the jolly comb. You can actually try, like the way we used to do when we were children, would remove dandruff, the way, just gently. So you can just do that gently and it will come off. So but you don't really have to worry about it too much.
Going to now diaper changing and cleaning of the mess and all. What is the recommended way in regards to taking care of a baby's delicate skin?
So you must keep the area dry. So you must use a good diaper, whichever diaper, whether if you're using cloth or you're using disposable, you must use a good diaper that is able to be absorbent, so that the baby skin is kept dry. You must clean properly, and that means wiping with some warm water, even if it's urine. So we tend to wipe the baby with water when they have passed stool, but we'll just usually wipe, we'll just change the diaper if they've just passed urine. But remember, urine is a waste product from the body. It's got minerals, it's got things that the body is trying to remove. So when that stays on your baby's skin for a long time, it can start causing some reaction on your baby's skin. So wipe off the baby with some warm water or cotton wool, and that will help the baby skin just remain clean. Make sure that you give your baby some time. In this hot weather, it's fantastic. Let the baby just air out and have some free time when it's nice and warm, to just be without a diaper, just a break. But basically, finally change your diaper often. Don't leave the baby for too long with a diaper, even if it's just urine, because then they just need to get some freshness in there.
And what oil would you recommend then? Because there's always the debate of, do you use jelly kind of oil? Do you still use the coconut?
Yes, you can. You can use whatever you've been using for the rest of the body. You can use there's some, we call them barrier creams, like the jelly, or we call them zinc and castor, and they just help keep the place dry. So whichever you choose, that's your choice.
Then I'll just go back to even Mercy's story, the issue of cotton. So it seems the issue of cotton is very serious. What is it about cotton that is,
It's because it's a natural fiber. It's not synthetic. So with eczema, they react to the synthetic type of fabric that is made. It will trigger a reaction. So cotton is one of the the natural fibers that we have. So the skin, it's comfortable on the skin. It also keeps the skin dry, but at the same time it keeps it cool. Yeah, so it's a very good, it's even on a hot day you want to wear cotton. You don't want to wear a nylon dress, you will sweat more. You want to wear cotton because it keeps you cooler. So it's those qualities of cotton are what makes it fantastic for children's skin. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll quickly jump in because I'm just trying to cover everything regarding skincare, baby skincare. There's the issue of dry, flaky skin when a baby is young, and parents just don't know when it will go away. That looks like kind of like eczema, but it's not eczema.
Yeah. Oh no, you remember your baby was in the womb for a long time, and the skin around when the baby is in the womb, their skin is protected by a wax covering. It's called vernix, and that wax covering, once they're born, it is wiped off or washed off. So the skin that's left underneath, imagine if you had wax and you had put it on the surface. So when you remove it, that top layer will have to come off, so that now the real skin is you're able to see the skin below.
Yes.
So it's not something bad. You just need to actually oiling your baby, like the whole body, does help the skin that shedding to clear faster.
Yes.
So just after wiping the baby down or washing them, just oil them, and usually it will clear in a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's clear. Then I think the last one that is on my mind now is on maybe I don't know what I would call it, aesthetics. I don't know what to call it, but there's the temptation to do something on the baby's lips. What is the right thing to do for the baby's lips?
When they look dry.
When they look dry.
Okay, so first make sure you fed your baby well, because dry lips are a sign that the baby is not getting very well hydrated the way they should be. So hydrate them, breastfeed them.
Yes.
More, so that you're sure that they're hydrated.
Yes.
But you can use, that's what I'm talking about, these natural oils, edible oils. Even the oil you use for cooking, it's edible. So you can just apply a thin layer around just the same way you take some Vaseline for you or some jelly and you apply, you can just apply it. So that one is natural, it's edible, so it's not gonna cause much damage to the baby's skin. So that's what we use for a baby. You can also just apply some breast milk, sometimes that helps too. Breast milk is very oily, so you can just take a little and apply around the mouth, and that's great. Yeah.
I think I have exhausted majority of the things. Actually, maybe what I'd just like to ask is, at what point does a mother seek help? Because you know, everyone, like what her doctor told her, heat rash, everyone assumes heat rash, and therefore maybe you can advise us what's the difference between heat rash and eczema.
Okay, so heat rash is common. Heat rash will look, they're raised bumps, they look like a rash, the way what we usually call a rash, or around, mostly it happens around the face, around the neck, sometimes around the back, and it's usually will be triggered by a lot of heat. Yeah, and for heat rash, you know that you need to see a doctor. If they look, now they start looking raised, you know, now it stopped being a rash, and you can see it's almost like it has some pus inside, and sometimes it will start looking very red, and sometimes the baby will get a mild fever. So that point, it tells you that the heat rash has become infected. So you need to see your doctor for treatment. For eczema, on the other hand, it's more of a dry, it's caused by the drying of the skin. So it will be generalized. It will most likely be on quite some parts of the body. Generally, it tends to be around the face, around the neck, around the arms, you know,
Yes, the folds.
The folds, the armpit, where the folds are, it tends to be more prevalent there. And usually, as it goes on, it starts to crack and it starts to ooze. It can even chuck some fluid, and then it's very, very itchy. You will see the child trying to shift themselves and to itch, and they'll cry and they're very uncomfortable. So eczema, usually eczema is very different. You will know it's not really a rash. It's more of like a wide area of skin that just looks very, very dry. Yes.
So at what point does a mother need to seek help, medical help, as opposed to doing the usual home remedies?
Yeah, the home remedies. As I said, ultimately, treatment of eczema, it's not something that's going away.
All right.
I have eczema. I still get flare-ups at my age. So it's not going away. It's in the blood. It's genetic. But you can, if you find they're oozing, you know, now they're oozing, or the cracks, or the baby is not able to even rest or feed well because they're so itchy, then you do need to see your doctor to get some treatment. But the best way for long-term use, because treatment tends also to be the use of steroids, creams, sometimes they use, which for long-term use, you can't use them long-term. So this will clear the flare-up quickly, but you don't want to be exposing your baby so much. So the best thing is to, like for her, I love that she discovered it was the shoals. So she was able to remove the trigger or the irritant, and then now the baby is okay. So that's what I tell moms: keep a diary, discover what's causing your baby to have a flare-up, and then remove it from the baby, and then your baby will be fine. You wouldn't need to have to seek treatment because of the flare-ups.
Good.
Yeah.
Any question?
She has answered everything.
She has answered everything.
Yeah.
Come back to the nest where we discuss everything babies. Unfortunately, we are on the last segment of our episode today. Please go on sending us all your feedback and comments and questions. Anything you think of, just send it to us on the number appearing on your screen and on our Facebook page on Covenant Television Network. Going quickly to Ask the Doula Anything. I'm going to your questions, and I'll just go to the first question from Jane. Jane says that I have inverted nipples. Is there any other remedy apart from using a syringe? I have a 7-month-old baby, and if I put my breast in her mouth, she just smiles.
So inverted nipples are interesting. So the first thing that we say is you don't actually need to use a syringe, because the nipple goes back, it retracts back. So if usually the inverted nipples is being caused by the nipple is not being released by some tension that's caused around the nipple. So because of that, the nipple does not come out like the way some people are. So these lesions that actually hold onto the nipple have to get released over time. So it's not something that you're going to solve in one day. It's usually teaching the baby how to breastfeed, and what you do is aim to put the dark part in the mouth rather than the nipple. The reason why most of us fail is because you're just thinking of putting just the nipple on the mouth. But if you aim for the whole the dark part, so what you can do, you can cup your breast a bit and hold it and cup it, so that will make it protrude forward, and then as the baby's mouth is open, the baby is able to hold the whole areola. So if you aim for that, the baby will achieve a latch without thinking. So try not to latch on the nipple, rather latch on the dark part. The baby will be able to hold the breast.
And now I have so many questions for Jane, and that's why I'd encourage her to probably send us more details, because if the baby is 7 months old, then you're curious on what has happened in the last
7 months. It's a bit hard to teach a 7-month-old. So the older they get, the harder it is to teach them how to latch. And so that's why we are like, if you have inverted nipples, even as you're going to deliver, if you're pregnant, please seek help. We are here. We are lactation experts. Most people with inverted nipples will need extra help. You'll need a lactation specialist to come and teach you and show you how to manage it early enough before the baby now lands the wrong way, or the baby you're completely unable to breastfeed. There are people who say, I never breastfed because of the nipples. So seek help early, and you'll be able to get the help that you need.
The funny thing is that we don't even know what inverted nipples are.
Yes.
I mean, when you're pregnant, you're just thinking of how will the baby come out fast. And then when the baby comes, you're like, gosh, there's something called inverted nipples.
So inverted nipples are, for most of us, you'll see the breasts, and it has this, the nipple is pointed out. You can actually see a distinct nipple. With the inverted nipples, they're actually, you cannot see any nipple. You just see the dark part, and the nipple is turned inward rather than forward. That's why it's inverted. Like instead of being forward, it's inside. So that's what inverted. So if you see that, or if they're flat, the nipple is flash against the skin. Those are also moms that have a lot of issues breastfeeding. So those two people, flat nipples and inverted nipples, even when you're pregnant, start thinking ahead of getting some help even before you deliver your baby. Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'll just go down to another question here. This one says that this one is from Frida. Frida says, do diapers have a negative impact to babies, especially a boy?
Okay, we've answered this question several times, but that's okay. So, no, they don't. There's no study that has been shown. And the fear comes from, you know, for men who are fertile, the age of fertility, from if they wear tight underwear, it impacts their fertility. So that's where the notion of diapers come from.
All right.
But a baby is not yet fertile. They do not yet produce sperm. So there's nothing to be affected or affected.
All right.
So you can use a diaper. It is safe, and research has shown that there's no long-term effect on girls or boys to use a diaper.
All right. But you still say that for the hot season, it's always good to give the some free time.
But also just for circulation, always transition your baby to the next diaper when they grow. So you know that your baby is ready to transition to the next size of diapers when they start leaking. So that you also don't keep your baby in very tight diapers. So if it starts leaking, you know, baby is ready for the next size. So you can move your baby.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I
think we can finish with that. I think everyone at home is feeling pleased. We'll be addressing your questions as they come, and we'll address them show by show, so please be patient with us. We actually can see from you and hear from you, and we are encouraged by that. For now, I would like to thank you so much for staying with us. We're looking forward to all your comments and feedback, and we look forward to seeing you next week. At this point, I'd like to thank you again, as usual.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mercy, for sharing your story. And congratulations for conquering. To the mom back home, thank you so much for staying with us till now. We are only here for you, here on The Nest. I am your host, Gladwell Kameni. See you next week.